See, I'm not that good, you guys. Hopefully we get it right this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, are you ready? Coming to you live from the heart of the West Side in San Antonio, Texas, Lupe Alcides.
What's up, you guys? My name is Lupe Alcides. I am a Chicano from San Antonio, Texas. I do live in the West Side. I have lived here pretty much all my life. I don't have the fortunate, I'm not fortunate enough to say that I was born here, but I have been pretty much all my life lived in San Antonio and mostly on the West Side. Um, I wanted to do a podcast on losing a loved one. My niece lost her husband yesterday. Unfortunately, I do know what it's like to lose a spouse, you guys. My first wife passed away um, 2008. It's been 12 years. Um, we had been married for 5 years, and it was one of those things, you guys, that she was taken from us way too young, way too early. Um, my niece, they're young, you guys. They're still young. So, and they've only been married a few years. So it's hard, you guys. It's hard, and I wanted to talk about this because one, because it's going on right now. Two, because I do have experience. I do have knowledge. I'm not an expert. That's my disclaimer. I'm not an expert on losing your spouse or relationships, but I have gone through it. So that's why I want to talk about it. So, like I made a video earlier on TikTok, I said that there's a difference between being in love with somebody and loving somebody. So somebody asked the other day, it's like, what's the difference? To me, when you love somebody, it's like Jesus said, love your neighbor. You can love your mom, you can love your siblings, you can love your fellow man, you can love your dog. I love Superman. That's a different kind of love, you guys. When you're in love with somebody, you have this like deep yearning for them. You care for them more than you care for other people. You know, you want to put them first. You care for their health, their well-being. You want to be with them all the time. You just want to hug them and kiss them and tell them how much you love them. It's different when you're in love with somebody. It's different, you guys. And when you find that one person that does that for you, you want to hold on to them and you don't ever want to let go. That's why you get married. That's why most of us get married. The experts say that that's not why you should get married. Being in love is not why you want to get married, but that's the reason most of us get married. Um, Unfortunately, sometimes your spouse passes away, whether it's from natural causes or unnatural causes. Like my niece, her husband passed away driving home from work, you guys. He was working out of town and he passed away in Stockdale. And what's really, really ironic and hits really hard, hits home hard for me, you guys, is that that's where my first wife is buried. She's buried in Stockdale. So it really hits hard for me because of that. So I was thinking about it because what it just happened to be that we were talking about the love thing the other day, and it's different when you lose your spouse, you guys. It's not. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't love your parents or your siblings or friends, but it hurts more when it's your spouse. That person was like the most important thing. They're the person that you love the most, more than anybody or anything. That's the person that you love the most. So it's different, you guys. It's different when you lose your spouse. It really, really is. It's very unfortunate, but unfortunately it happens. So um one thing that made it really, really stand out for me was my aunt passed away a few years ago, and she was the first aunt that passed away, so it was really hard for my family. Um, my niece, I mean, my cousin was she was grieving, she's crying, and somebody said, "I know what you're going through," and my cousin said, "You don't know what you're going through, what I'm going through, because your mom is right there with you. You don't know what I'm going through." And one of the other reasons I wanted to do this podcast is because of that, you guys. I don't mean this to be like a jerk thing to say, but if you don't know what it's like to go through that process or that situation, you won't understand, you guys. And I hope that you don't have to experience that, but some of us have, and we do know what it's like. We do know what it feels like, how much it hurts. And I mean, I'll be honest with you. My first wife passed away 12 years ago, and I still think about her. I still miss her, and it still hurts because she passed away too soon, too early. My stepkids have to grow up with their mom. My grandkids have to grow up with their grandmother. So it hurts. It hurts a lot. And another reason that I wanted to talk about this is because not only do you not understand what the person is going through, but if you've never grieved that way, you don't know what it's like, you guys. And I'll say this, and I've always believed this, and that's another thing that I don't mean to be a jerk by saying this, but we all have to grieve our own way. Nobody has the right to tell you you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do it this way, you have to do it that way. I've had people tell me that their friends and family members are telling them, "Hey, it's time for you to move on. You need to go out and meet somebody." Hey, I don't care who it is, if it's your mom, if it's your dad, if it's your best friend. If you're not ready, you're not ready. You move on when you feel good and ready. Don't let anybody else dictate how you mourn, how you live your life. If you think it's ready, if you think that you're ready to move on, move on. If you don't think that you're ready, you don't have to do anything to make other people happy. You don't. So that's that. Um, and I know that a lot of people, their hearts are in the right place and they mean well, but sometimes just being there is more than enough. Sometimes you can say things, not that it's the wrong thing to say, but like saying something like, "I know what you're going through, I know how it feels." Sometimes it's not the right thing to say. Sometimes just being there is more than enough. Just be there for them. Just, "Hey, if you need anything, I'm here. If you want anything, I'm here. If you need somebody to talk to, I'm here." Sometimes it's hard, you guys. It's really, really hard. Like I said, this person, your spouse, is the most important person in your whole life. And to lose that person hurts more than anything. So just let the person know that, "Hey, I know it hurts, or I can imagine that it hurts. I don't know because I haven't been through that or whatever. So, but just know that I care about you. I love you. I'm here if you need me." Don't, try not to do too much. That's what my point that I'm trying to get at. Try not to do too much because sometimes too much is like way too much. Um, and like I said, if you haven't been through that situation, you don't really understand how much it hurts and what the person is going through, and you have to let them mourn their own way. I I'm a recovering addict, so I didn't drink. I knew that if I was to use that as an excuse to drink, I would have gone to a place that I would have never come back from. So I had to be strong for myself, you guys. I had to be strong for myself, and that's another thing. People will tell you, "Hey, you have to be strong for this. You have to be strong for that." I will say you have to be strong for yourself. Because if you're strong for yourself, then you could be strong for your kids. Don't be strong for the kids. Be strong for yourself. Take care of yourself, because if you take care of yourself, then you'll be able to take care of your kids. You'll be able to take care of your family. If you're too worried about taking care of everybody else, guess what? You're neglecting your own self, and then your health goes to shit, or whatever. You end up becoming something that you don't want to become, or you get to a bad place and you end up gonna being bitter, or your health is gonna go to shit. So take care of yourself so you can be good for yourself and everybody else. And like I said, you have to be able to mourn your own way. Don't let anybody tell you what to do or how to do it, or what you have to do, or the right way to do it. I mean, there's a lot of experts out there. You read a book, hey, I read this. Don't tell them you have to do it this way. Just suggest things. Hey, I read in the book that, if you go for a walk, it'll help you because you're out in nature, blah, 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 whatever. But don't tell people that you have to do it. Hey, nah, that's enough. You've been in the room for a week crying. That's enough. You need to get up and get out. What happens when you tell somebody what to do? They get resistant and they're not going to want to do it. So just keep stuff like that in mind, you guys. Um, and like I said, I honestly believe that nobody has a right to tell you how to mourn and when you have to move on, or that you have to move on. That's a thing. You don't have to move on if you don't want to. And moving on también involves dating. It took me personally a really long time, and to be honest with you, I think that one of the main reasons that I was ready to move on was because I was lonely. The person that meant most to me was gone. And so I was looking for somebody, to keep me company, and to be there for me the way my first wife was. But I did it on my own. I didn't sit there and, oh, well, the experts say, 6 years or whatever. Um, it's different from breaking up with somebody. And I'll tell you guys a kind of a story. The, the person that I was dating a few years ago, she says to me, and this is one of those things that sometimes you don't want to say certain things. She says to me, I know how you feel. I know what you're going through. And I said, um, no offense, but you actually don't. Your husband left you. He's still alive. You can go bother him, beg him for another chance. You can go looking for him, stalking him, whatever. I don't have that privilege. My wife is gone. She is never coming back. It's not like she went on vacation. It's not like we broke up. She is gone. She will never come back. That's a whole lot different from just breaking up with somebody. And this is the thing. This is the one thing that always stuck out the most. I really used to get annoyed with kids on social media after a breakup. Oh my God, so and so left. It's the end of the world. I'm like, first of all, it's not the end of the world, because you can stand up, you can sit down, you can breathe, and you're still alive. Oh, it can't get any worse. Trust me, it could always get any worse. So I'll say this, you guys. If you really love somebody, try to make it work. If you don't think that you can make it work, leave. Find somebody that you can make it work with. Why, you still have a chance. If you really, really want to be with this person, put away the petty shit, put away the stupid shit, and just love each other. Because trust me, it can get worse. And when that person's gone, you ain't getting no more chances. No matter how many chances you want. It's hard, you guys. You you don't know how much I wish I could just call her up and say, "Hey, I'm sorry, can we talk? Can you give me one more chance?" I will never get that. So Don't don't let anything interfere with your happiness. If the person that you're with really makes you happy and you really want to be with them, put away the petty shit. If you don't know how to talk, learn how to talk. Go to counseling. Ask somebody to teach you how to talk. Hey, I don't know how to talk to this chick. All we do is argue and fight. Ask somebody. Ask somebody who's been married for a long time. Or like me, this is funny because my sister of 3 years younger has been married for like almost 30 years, you guys. They've been married almost 30 years. And to me, that's like something to look up to. They bicker, they talk smack to each other, but they're still married. They're happily married. You don't want it to get to the point where you will never have a chance to talk to that person ever again. So, like I said in the video, love each other, hug your loved ones. I said it right this time. Hug your loved ones, tell them how much they mean to you, and just make it work. And if you want to be fair, it doesn't have to just be marriages. Your friends, families, you never know what's going to happen, you guys. That, like the saying says, here today, gone tomorrow. We're we don't know. We don't know how long we got. We want to think that we're going to live forever. I want to live forever because I got grandkids. I want to see them grow up, but I don't know for sure. So stop the bullshit and just love each other. Okay, that's all I got, you guys. I know that I'm still recording, but I'm gonna see if anybody have. Yes, Dodger fan. Thank you for being my moderator, and thank you for telling everybody for. Thank you for the patience. If anybody has any questions right now, we will take some questions from the audience, if you will. Um, I will give you my narrow-minded, biased opinion, you guys. Like I have said many times before on TikTok and on the podcasts. This is my narrow-minded, biased opinion. I don't consider myself an expert on anything. I do like to talk a lot of smack, and I do like to give my opinion, hence the videos and the podcast. But if anybody has anything to say or any comments, any questions, right now we're taking questions from the audience. Um, Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that. I will give you guys a few minutes. If not, we will wrap up the. Um, Thank you, sir. Um, Actually, my first wife, and I had been married for 5 years. Um, we got into an argument, and I had started staying somewhere else, and she was actually murdered in the apartment while she was home alone. So that's another reason it was really hard for me because she was alone. We had been arguing, and I felt for a really long time that I should have been there. I had promised for till death do us part, and I wasn't there. Oh, thank you, sir. Just waiting for another question. Thank you. Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was horrific, and the worst part is that they still haven't found who did it. So it's hard to get closure when they haven't found the person responsible. So hopefully something happens in my lifetime. Like I said, it's really hard for my stepkids and for the grandkids. I mean, my oldest granddaughter says she still remembers her grandma and she misses her, and it's really hard because there's nothing you can do that will make it better. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Does anybody have any other questions they would like to ask the podcaster? Instagram, anybody have any questions? And I do have some more notes for the relationship podcast, you guys. And that one will be a little bit longer. That one I do have more notes and topics that I want to cover. But this one I just wanted to cover it because my niece is going through it. Um, I have gone through it. So for the sake of argument, I'm gonna start wrapping up this podcast, but just wanted to end by saying that it's hard, you guys. It's a hard thing to get through and to deal with. So reach out to somebody. I never reached out to anybody because I felt like I had to get through it on my own. Um, I never really knew how to reach out to other people, and after that happened, it was really hard for me to even try to, talk to other people about it. It's taken me a while to even be able to talk about it. But I think that if you do talk about it, it can help. Um, just remember that it's a really hard subject to talk about, you guys. If you try to talk to it with somebody that doesn't have a clue what it's like to lose somebody that way, your spouse, it's going to be hard, you guys. So take that into consideration, that they may not understand what you're going through, and they may not understand how to help you deal with it. So sometimes talking to somebody else that has gone through with it, or um, somebody who understands. Um, I may regret putting myself out there because there's a lot of people on TikTok, but if you ever need somebody to talk to, I'm more than willing to listen. I'm not always available. That's the bad part. I'm not always available because I do have grandkids. Um, Person of interest, we will say, that rekindling a relationship with. Um, so I may not always be available, but if I am available or if I can make time, I will be more than willing to listen. Sometimes all you really need is somebody just to listen. And that's another thing. I know this is kind of off subject, but if you're trying to be there for somebody else, sometimes all you have to do is just listen. They don't always want advice, they just want somebody to listen. So keep that in mind, you guys. And with that in mind, I'm going to wrap up this podcast. Thank you for watching and listening. I will see you guys next time.